Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Canary Room. Season 7? Episode 5? 6? I don't know. Who's keeping count? I'm certainly not, clearly. Listen, another action-packed show in store for you today. So we've had a flurry of chicks hatch out today, just in time for our filming. Highs and lows with the Fifes, a little bit of course on the Redpoll diaries, thanks to everyone who's watching the native diaries and for all your comments there. So have a little look at the Redpolls today in the Redpoll diaries. We've got young Norwich as well this time out, so so far so good. And we've had today a visit, an international visit. Now, I don't have many visitors to the Canary Room, but very happy to extend a very warm welcome to Frank Sawyer, who has come all the way from Australia. Now, Frank hasn't come all the way from Australia to see me. He was on business in the UK and asked if he could pop across. So it was lovely to meet you, Frank. And best of luck with your borders and your Fifes for the rest of the season. So loads and loads in store, as always. You know what to do, everyone. Oh, here's mine. Grab yourself a cuppa, sit back and enjoy the show. So it's fair to say, everybody, that the Fife season so far has started quite well. There are 13 nests of chicks, with a few more due this week, and then we have had some empty nests which we've put back down again. But listen, don't let me kid you in that everything has gone swimmingly, because it most definitely hasn't. So just today I have taken, we can see it here, a nest of 3, it looks like 2 clears and a variegated, off a really nice hen this and a really nice cock bird. I have taken those birds, they'd gone cold, so although the crops are full, they were cold and they were looking a little bit listless, to be fair. So I'd seen the hen, she was sort of pulling at some of the string, the cock was doing the same. So I've taken them and I've put them into cage 76. Now the hen has gone back on. There's 6 in there now. The hen has gone back on. She's sitting. So fingers crossed, let's see if we can bring those back around. They just need a bit of warmth. They've got food in them, so they just need a little bit of warmth. Cage 74 is another story. So cage 74 is in the variegated white cockbird and the yellow hen. Remember, those birds had clear eggs. Now, we haven't had any chicks off this clear cock yet. I don't know whether he fires on all cylinders, shall we say. We haven't had anything from him. However, he's proven to be quite a good father, quite a good rearer of chicks. Had one of the birds that we bought in, one of the young hens that we bought in, walk off her eggs the day before they were due to hatch. Now, what was particularly irritating about that was there was a Norwich egg in there. Only one Norwich egg, but there was one Norwich egg in there. And I thought, I'm going to lose these. I set them under the hen. She was incubating. I knew she was on empty eggs, but I'd left her. I left her to sit. And it's one of the things I will do. I will leave hens sometimes to sit. I try and coordinate my hatchings so that I've got a number of hens due to hatch at the same time. Just so you know, if you need to move things around, and you can. And fortunately, I was able to move things around. And fortunately, of the 5 eggs that were in the nest, 4 of them have hatched. They're being fed. So they're developing nicely. So a little bit of success there. Hasn't all gone to plan. I've lost a couple of chicks. There will always be some chick mortality. I have lost a few chicks so far this season. But generally speaking, it's gone okay. I have started to put pans in for the second round now, and what I have done is I've dropped the nest pan in one instance so far, and I have let the hen sort of build up again. She has been mated again. I've reintroduced the cockbird there, so that's our blue on the end. She hatched 5 initially. let 3 of them die. So there's 2 cinnamons left. They've got to both be hens because of the way they're bred. So, you know, I guess the reason I'm telling you this is not to bring you down on a Sunday by any stretch of the imagination. But look, stuff happens. You know, there's a good number of chicks still in the Canary Room, and that's important. And that's what I'm going to focus on. I'm not going to focus on the ones that are no longer with us. I'm going to focus on the ones that we've got. You'll notice if you look at the cages that I'm feeding soak seed in finger drawers. I've got the egg food mix. I have got lots of people who ask me what's in the sort of the yellow stuff. That's Unifeed. I'm feeding an egg food mix, and I'm feeding both a little bit of broccoli and watercress as well, and that's basically what I give all of the birds when they're rearing chicks, certainly all of the canaries anyway. So really impressed with the cockbird in cage 3. I think we talked about him last time. A number of his young have hatched out now. So I've got young out of him with 5 of the 6 hens, and there is a full egg in the other hen. All in all, looking okay. You know, as I look around with the Fifes, it's been a goodish start. The white hen that won Wales for me, she's on 5 full eggs as well, so they're due to hatch later this week, so that's encouraging. A couple of hens incubated, not hatched, so must be dead in shell. And still 1 hen, and I've given her a little bit of capock actually. 1 hen in cage 14, still to lay everyone. So, you know, ups and downs. Well, ladies and gents, it's a similar story with the Norwich this year. Now, you'll remember we've got 5 straight pairs of Norwich. The 3 of the Norwich hens have now laid. We have got 2 Norwich chicks. I say we've got 2 Norwich chicks. They are, one's just hatched today. We can see it here with a nest of greens. So I know that's the Norwich. And one, as we mentioned earlier on, we saved in inverted commas. Some say saved, it's very, very early, and we don't know whether we'll successfully rear them. The other 2 Norwich hens are just starting to get a little bit interested in the nest now, so that's okay. As I say, 3 have laid. I have got some eggs to set. I've got another Fife which is laying at the moment, so I'll set some Norwich eggs under her, and that's what I'll be doing first round. I will be using some of the Fifes to rear Norwich for me, and then we'll see how the Norwich get on later on. So Norwich notebook, quick update. We've got Norwich this season so far. Long way to go yet though. So viewers of the Native Diaries will know that we've had hatchings in the Redpolls. So Redpoll diary-wise, everyone, a little update for you. Been a mixed week with the polls actually since I filmed the Native Diaries. So the Silver, the Agat hen, has laid. She's laid I think 3 or 4 eggs now. So that's the 3rd sort of pied pair. She's split pied actually with a pied cock. That's the 3rd pied pair to go down. The Cobalt pair beneath built a nest, no sign of laying yet. And then I lost my old Cobalt cock, which is a real shame, but fortunately, I have a pied cockbird, well, split pied cockbird, and I paired him with the Cobalt hen. So, be interesting to see what comes out there. But they're paired up as a sort of 3rd pair underneath the window. And then the other 2 pairs of poles that I've got, they are they're doing okay. Seem to be bonding. I've seen them feed each other. Seen them picking up a little bit of nesting material. I am giving them a few mini mealworms, which seems to be going down quite well for them, so pleased about that. The 2 cages behind me, there are now 6 young in both of those cages. So I've rung 4 of them. 2 just weren't quite ready. They'll probably be ready later tonight, maybe tomorrow morning. It's the thing with redpolls, they go from not being able to be rung because you run the risk of the rings falling off, to being the rings are too small to go on very quickly, and it's the difference between an afternoon. Part of the reason for that is their rapid growth rate, and what's driving their rapid growth rate is the feeding of pinkies. Now, to be honest, I give the redpolls, I give them egg food, I give them all kinds, I give them soak seed, I give them greens. The only thing they seem to be interested in, and they'll eat those things, don't get me wrong, is the pinkies. The frozen pinkies are absolutely being devoured and packed in to the young. So week or so from fledging these young, but so far plenty of time for heartache, isn't there? It's the redpolls after all, but so far so good. Coming up next is question time. A massive thank you to everybody who has taken the time to contact me with questions. I will answer a few on the show, and I will answer all of them on Facebook and where the questions have come in from. So thank you for that. First question we're going to go with is from John Martin. Good friend. Hope you're well, mate. I'm going to have to take my glasses off because I'm old now. So, to top up or not to top up? That is the question. Do you, as most on the continent and many here, do a top up in the evening of your young chicks that don't look like they have full crops, or do you leave the hens to it, even if you suspect they may not be feeding very well? Really good question, John. A really good question. And the answer is, like many canary breeders, I keep an eye on the birds, and I will check the young both in the morning and at night, and I have this year topped up. The reality is, where I have topped up, it hasn't been very successful, and I'm very much of a view that a hen either senses there's something not right with the chick, which is why she stops feeding it. Occasionally, and my preference, John, is to move chicks. And then, generally speaking, sometimes another hen will continue to feed them, and it can be, as I think is in the case in one of the cages here, that the cock's overfit and he's driving the hen to go back down again. So I do top up, John. One of the things that I'm overly conscious of this year is not just looking at the crop, because birds, and particularly if I think about the redpolls, actually, the food will move from the crop to the stomach very quickly. So I will look at the crop. One of the things I'll also look for, though, is the food in the stomach. And because the chick's stomachs are almost translucent, you can pretty much see it in there. And if I can see food in the belly, even if it's not got a full crop, then I'm generally happy to leave it. Thanks very much for the question, mate. Kieran Dowling, hello Kieran, how are you? What's the best food to give when chicks are hatching, in your opinion? Really good question, this. I think for me, I like to give a selection of food, Kieran. I think I mentioned it earlier on in the show. I give soak seed, I give egg food, I give broccoli, I give Unifeed on, I've got watercress, and for me, Kieran, the key really is a selection. Some will only rear on soak seed, some will only rear on greens, some will rear on seed. Every bird is different, mate, so for me the key is give as much variety as you can. Alright, I hope that answers your question. Fraser Anderson, what piece of equipment could you not be without in the canary room? Really good question, mate. Probably my egg tweezers. For those of you who know me well will know that I am not the most steady of handed, and the egg tweezers for me are invaluable. I have only dropped one egg this year and I didn't use the tweezers. So Fraser, plastic egg food, Shane from Direct Bird Products got me them, and honestly, absolute game changer for me. Two final questions. One from Ian Cardwell. Quickest way to build a stud of your own in a structured manner. What a brilliant question, Ian. The key key for a stud of birds, think about what we want from a stud of birds essentially. So first thing from a stud of birds is you want some consistency. So, you know, optimally, most importantly, particularly if you're breeding to a breed standard for exhibition purposes, you want to breed a stud of birds which is close to the exhibition standard as possible, but you want consistency in them. And so for me, that meant when I bought my initial stud of birds, and it was from pretty much one breeder. Now, I will blend birds in. You are all aware this year I've got a number of outcrosses, 4 hens actually. I will blend birds in and see how they work, if there's a particular desirable feature that I want from those birds, and to see how that goes. But generally speaking, stick with one would be my advice. Now, I know lots of people have different views on this. Building a stud of birds takes time. The other key element to it, Ian, as you're acutely aware, I'm sure, mate, is record keeping. You know, you want enough birds so that you can breed some numbers. Don't worry about colour, worry about type, is the first thing to say. And really just keep really good records so you can see and develop, and then think about, you know, line breeding, which is, you know, within one line of descent. Sometimes I will use inbreeding as well, which is father to daughter. Rarely I'll use brother to sister, but if you're trying to fix a genetic pool, it's a way of doing that. You've got to understand, though, that it comes with a depression element to it as well. So I hope that answers the question, mate. And our final question comes in from our good mate Adam Kendall, which basically says, do you look at the youngsters bred from the first round and make any changes for the second round pairs if you don't like the look of the youngsters? Brilliant question. What I do add is I often will run the cockbird in for the second round before the young obviously have jumped the nest, so they're about 14 days. Depending on how well they've been fed gives you an indication as to whether you like them or not. I will often stick with pairs, or pairs that I've put together, very much like yourself. You know, as you've got a stud of birds which has been developed over a number of years, you pretty much can determine, although not 100%, you can pretty much determine the outcome. What I will do, though, is there are certain birds which I plan already to run a different cock with in the second round, and there are other birds that, due to circumstances, I end up running a different bird within the second round. And that's been the case in the penultimate block here, where I have a heavily variegated yellow cock bird, and he had 4 hens to cover. Now, one of those hens has gone off colour. We might lose her, actually. One of those hens has gone off colour. The other 3, he's put 1 down with full eggs. The other 3 have had very few full eggs. Now, he's an over-year bird, so surprises me. He's a mauve ring. I wouldn't expect him to be firing as many blanks this year. So what I have done is, for the second round, or the first full round with some of those birds, I've put the blue cock, the cinnamon carrier blue cock, over them, which will come with its own challenges, but that's what I've done, mate. So I hope that answers your question. Thank you, everybody, for contacting the channel and all of your questions. That is all we've got time for today. I hope you've enjoyed the episode. If you have, please consider subscribing to the channel, and smash a like. And I always enjoy reading your comments and commenting on them in the columns below. Until next time, everyone, take care.